Ladies and gentlemen, you're very welcome for the second round of games here in Tallaght University, Dublin, between Ireland and Northern Ireland in the annual St. Patrick's Challenge. I am Benny O'Regan, and with me in the commentary box to call this game is my very lovely analyst and experienced player, Caterina Pilieri. Buongiorno, mia amica.
Buongiorno, amico mio. You might have heard Benny commentating the under-18s match before this one for the girls that lost against Northern Ireland, unfortunately. But the under-18 men's that played before this game, they did manage to win 3-0, a dominating win. So the senior team is looking to repeat themselves and show an even stronger performance.
Well, now it's the seniors up, and we'll be calling the game for the men. This will be my first time on court 1, while the women are over on court 2. Still been introduced there by Conor Flood. So it's Ireland versus Northern Ireland senior men. No strangers to each other, Katerina, especially if they have to play each other once a year at this fantastic challenge that's been going on for the last couple of years between Northern Ireland around the St. Patrick's weekend.
Yeah, exactly. It is a classic game, you could even say, but also it's a really important game for both of these two teams because later in June, they will be facing off against each other in the SCA qualifier for the senior team. So they're looking to scout each other out. They're going to be testing a lot of different plays so that they can prepare for the match coming up in June.
So a bit of shadow boxing here at the University of Tallaght here in Dublin. So Ireland are the first ones up to serve. It'll be setter Jordan Donnelly who will get the game underway. Ireland will be led by their libero, who's been in the Irish programme since he was 13 years old, back all the way in 2019. Keegan Davern from Galway originally, but now playing with Trinity College as well. And what a great start by Jordan Donnelly to get a good ace right on the back line, Katerina.
Yeah, exactly. This game is going to be tense. It might go long, and it's really nice to start it off with strong service pressure.
You see the second referee here from Galway is Aidan MacDonald, here with the long beard, just trying to tell the subs to stay in their zone in the corner. First referee is Maria Jimenez, Spanish referee, but trading from the Netforce Volleyball Club in Cork. And what the setter can do for the Irish team, the Northern Ireland setter can do to introduce himself into the game with a lovely dump down into the centre of the court.
Yeah, exactly. Two really nice plays to start with. First an ace and now a setter dump. Both setters establishing themselves early.
So that was Miles Riley up for serving, the setter. Dealt with by the Irish team. There's a big hit there by Peter McGlynn. Peter McGlynn is back from abroad, plying his trade in Slovakia with another Irish international player, but he's not here today, Patrick Cawley.
Yeah, that was a strong swing. The block from Northern Ireland just unable to commit and properly place their hands.
Well, let's see what McGlynn does. He goes down the line channel, but Northern Ireland pick it up. They go for a fast into the middle, and that was a lovely kill by number 5 there, Tom Aldworth.
Yeah, Keegan Davern, the captain, managed to read that well, but just unable to get under the ball properly to scoop it up.
Well, still early days anyway. Both teams just finding their feet on the court. It's been steady by both sides, inside and out. Davern manages to pick it up. Donnelly sets out to the wing to another experienced player, Killian O'Riordan. And it's been given for a touch off the block. Obviously, Killian could hear it, but it's a very noisy at this venue, Katerina, so you can forgive the referees to not hear everything, but if they see a change in the directory, like even the slightest of touches, they have to have their eye in on it.
Yeah, there's multiple games going on, so throughout the whole day we're going to be hearing a lot. You know, there's a big crowd watching, so you've got 2 games going on, so you hear multiple whistles happening, so it can be a bit confusing.
Julian from Balbriggan there tried to go with the jump serve, but fortunately for Ireland, it hits the top of the net and results in a point for Northern Ireland. This is also an introduction as well, first time for number 14, Zadir Hassan. Well, we'll have to wait a little bit longer, see if he's going to set the ball, but that was an ace there. Number 5 from Northern Ireland, Tom Aldworth.
Yeah, exactly. I was speaking about service pressure before. Northern Ireland showing that they can apply it as well.
Both teams have 1 ace, all the early stages, and there's the introduction of Hassan. Thank you very much. Big long reach, close to 2 meters, maybe a little bit more there up at the net. And you can see the big long reach. He's very new to the game. I've only seen him since last summer when he was playing with a team from IVI, the Jackals, who are now playing in Division 2 men.
Yeah, and it's really nice to see Jordan Donnelly go to him right away and establish him. It's really important to give your players that confidence.
Indeed. The early, you can set your stall with the middles. the more the opposition have to be on their toes, that it's not always going to be predictable out to the outsides.
Yeah, exactly, and he's such a tall player, as you said, so Ireland will be looking to use him to maybe disguise other sets.
Peter McLean must have forgot that he's back in Ireland here, because the roofs ain't as high as they are in Slovakia.
Yeah, that was an unfortunate mistake. Just pushed the ball a bit too high. The ceiling in this gym is not the highest. You know, most volleyball players might not love that, but just time to adapt.
Here we go again with Northern Ireland jump serve. I think there was a call of a foot fault by Maria Jimenez on the top podium. So now it's the very experienced Killian O'Riordan from Munster Thunder, who's been just like Keegan Darverin in there in the Irish setup since been reintroduced back in 2018. There's a call given by Maria. She's calling it in. I would have maybe questioned that. It could have been a nice kick to introduce VAR to such a wonderful occasion like we have here in Tallaght. However, we'll work with the honesty of the referee, whatever she sees fit.
Yeah,
Sir?
we've seen Northern Ireland try to establish both their middles early on in the match.
Lovely pass by Captain Darverin, but Sonny Yamaha Brennan is back after a long hiatus. He's doing a lot of volleyball over in Japan, where he has connections there. However, he's returned now to St. Patrick's Challenge, and that was his first ball given in this game. One of the best as ever. We can scratch that last mistake off, because the Northern Ireland server did the exact same, serving into the net.
Yeah, we've seen a couple of errors from Northern Ireland at the serve. You know, we saw them get a couple aces early on in the match, but now making a bit too many mistakes, so it's important to find a balance between the two.
Nice float serve by Hassan, but easily dealt with by Workman. Oh, there was a big strong hit there on the wing. Quality hit there. Nothing the Irish defense could do to pick it up.
Yeah, Hassan might have been just a little bit too far into the court, but at the same time, we know that middles are not made for defense, so it's still a good job for reading that ball well, but maybe just positioned himself a bit too far into the court.
Well, we got the first introduction of Mika Niewicz from Northern Ireland. That was the guy who won the point there on the attack. That was Peter McGlynn's turn. Oh, the pick-up awkward by Julian, but anyway, play goes on. It's going to be Northern Ireland's ball. They tried to do a roll shot, but easily picked up by Jordan Donnelly. Play goes on again. Oh, and now it's Niewicz' turn to do the odd beach roll. Rolls it over the drifting block. No one there to react, falls into the middle of the campfire.
Yeah, that was a really smart play. You know, you've got the opposite over there, kind of staying a bit too long with Sonia Yamada, but Northern Ireland doing a really good job at moving the Irish defense.
Well, to no avail now. You can scratch that away because service has gone long out by number 16, McElveen Luther.
Yeah, that's another service here from Northern Ireland.
And we're back around to the first server. So can Jordan Donnelly do what he did in the first point of this set? Get an ace. He goes strong, long, but dealt with by the pass in Northern Ireland. We go behind there. Peter McGlynn will claim the block, even though, from my observation, I think it hit more the net than the block, but still in all, it will be a point for Ireland, no matter who gets the credit.
Yeah, impressive jump from Ali McGuinness from Northern Ireland. He was really looking for the strong swing, but the Irish block read him really well.
Here we go again with Donnelly's serve. This time he puts it out with Niewicz. It's a 1-2 with him in the center. And this time, Sonny does really introduce himself with a stuffed block on Niewicz. Point for Ireland.
Yeah, another really well-placed block from Ireland. You know, they were able to block on the left side, and now they're blocking on the right side. So, really well-disciplined.
Third time now for Jordan Donnelly, setter for Ireland. Goes strong again, go down the middle. Oh, a good pass in to the setter. Has gone very well to the middle blocker there. Once again, Tom Albert shows up trumps with his swing. Gets the kill.
Yeah, Ireland had a double block on Tom Aldworth, but he was able to put his thumb down and cut his sharp cross court.
Go down the line to O'Riordan, but gives a lovely high ball to Donnelly, who sets behind to a lovely swing by Peter McLean on that. Getting the outside of the blocker's hand, found the gap between there and the antenna. Point for Ireland.
Yeah, showing he can swing from any side of the court. We've seen him use the block a couple times. This time he tagged the outside of the Northern Irish block, still making sure that he got the kill.
Whoa. And another one, he'll scratch off. That serve went into the middle of the net. So it's Northern Ireland that have the advantage here, 12 points to 10. Close to halfway. Just needs to be a change on the scoreboard there, just get it right. Second referee, Aidan McDonald, just trying to rectify the situation. Correct there. And eventually we got there. So it is 12 points to 10 in favor of Northern Ireland. So we're in set 1.
And it will be Mika Newitz to serve for Northern Ireland.
Where should he go? Will he go down the line to Cillian O'Riordan again? No, he goes hard out to McGlynn, who manages to scrap and pick it up. So there is a chance at least of a counter-attack, but Northern Ireland are going fast on their own counter-attack. There's a big jump there by Julian in the middle to seal the double block. Another big hit there, but McGlynn's there for the cover and the back line. Going into Cillian, O'Riordan, he knew at the tip, there was a 3-man block up there. Now there's a big hit. It was, now he's smart enough, using the outside hand of O'Riordan to get a swipe off. Good use of the ball and timeout called by Coach Graham Bell there.
Yeah, Ali McGuinness showing some really impressive court vision. He saw just one blocker out of him and gently tapped his hand, the ball falling down on the side of Cillian O'Riordan. So Graham Bell will try to gather his troops. You know, it might just be a little bit of nerves. You know, they're playing in front of a home crowd. But Ireland has been doing a really good job. You know, they're getting themselves in system really well, but they seem to be working overtime to try and get the ball down. You know, they've had to attack multiple times within a rally. You know, Northern Ireland is doing a really good job in block and in defense, making Ireland work really hard.
Well, we'll see if the break and play will help bring a focus to Ireland's game. Steady start all the same, just a few points going against them. But at least they're making Northern Ireland win their points rather than giving them free points. Anyway, we'll go back to the service line, and Mika Niewicz gonna be up for the serve. Will he go? Strong cross again on McGlynn's area in zone 1. Let's see. Goes down the line to O'Riordan. It's a lovely high ball. He goes into the middle into Julian, and there was no one there. Back of zone 5. Swinging a hit for the Balbriggan man.
Yeah, Jordan Donnelly's second set to the middle, and it worked really well. There was no block on him right there, doing a really good job at confusing the Northern Irish block.
But it all comes from the pass, as you know yourself as a libero, Katerina. It was a good pass by Cillian O'Riordan that gave all the options available for Donnelly. That's the second service error now by Julian. He may have to rethink it the third time he's up at the service plate. Anyway, Northern Ireland are back to serve on this. For number 5, they pass it down to McGlynn's zone, but it's easily dealt with. Sonny takes a quick swing at it, but it hits on the outside of his hand. Goes on the outside of the line and out. And the second spike error by the guy who's just returned from Japan.
Yeah, that was really unfortunate, especially because Zakir Hassan had done a really good job at drawing out the middle blocker from Northern Ireland, and Sonny only had one blocker on him, just like he did now, and now he fixed his mistake.
Fixed it all right, made sure that he knew where the center of the court was. And again, when he's in a one-on-one situation, he needs to look at the space around the block. Found it easy this time. Now it's his turn to serve. Going with a float serve, again to go down the middle. Good pass by Northern Ireland. The swing out of it, Hassan gets hands on it there. Get a big block. What will Reardon do? He gets his hands on it. He does a little bit of a stare down after that. Let's be a little bit careful on it, but all the same, don't discredit the block. Lined up very well in his one-to-one situation. Gave the momentum and the ball back to Ireland.
Yeah, really impressive solo block by Cillian O'Riordan. He saw that he was by himself and just pressed his hands down. Really well done.
Also remember the block prior to that by Hassan. He helped keep the pressure on it. Oh, I think there's a touch of the antenna. There was. He didn't know there was a gap there between the antenna and the outside hand of the blocker. Unfortunately, his execution was just a little off.
Yeah, and that's something that Ireland has been doing a lot less of, just giving away mistakes. They've had a couple service errors, yes, but not as many hitting mistakes, and that's really important to keep doing it.
Well, you love the sign of that anyway, because that ball went down all the way to Chinatown, inside the back line, and it's now Northern Ireland's turn to take their first time out. Tails are up for Ireland.
Yeah, that's exactly what you want to see. Sonny Amata doing a really impressive job. He struggled a little bit in hitting, but he is trying to compensate by doing other things really well. We saw him adapt his hits based on the set, trying to change it up to things that did work, and he's doing a really good job from the service line right now.
Yeah, and a lot with the players that are coming back into the Irish squad, they're only trying to find their feet, and you have to give them a small bit of time anyway to allow for one mistake or two, but after a while, mistakes shouldn't be part of your game. Otherwise, as you see there, the bench are ready every time, every opportunity they have to take a run, take a jog. They're ready if called upon by Coach Bell.
Yeah, exactly. We're now tied at 15 all, so it's important for the bench to stay warm because, as I said, this game could go long, and Graham Bell wants his players to be ready at all times.
Yeah, like with everything in life, it ebbs and flows. And now, at the moment, it's Ireland that are on the up. Can they tag on to this, or will the delay in play affect them? They go for a strong long, they aim at Workman, but he deals with it. They go out to the opposite. Oh, I know Killian Lorre is loving that. Second time in a row. You wouldn't think with the height of him that he should be getting full hands onto it, but that's the second time now he's stuffed off the opposite hitter for Northern Ireland. Yeah,
really impressive job by Killian O'Riordan, patiently waiting and then jumping at the right time. Ali McGuinness has a really impressive jump, but Killian O'Riordan reading him even better.
He needs to look up now, but they go into the middle there, but it's picked up by Davern. Recycled play here for Northern Ireland to go swing at it. And look at Hassan, will it go in? It does! Monster block by the monster middle player. Not bad for his debut right now.
Yeah, he's had a kill already and now a block. He was a little bit late on that, but because of how tall he is, he still positioned his hands really well, and that ball ended up on the court. Really well done.
That's it. And if you know how to use your hands at the point of contact for the block, you can get just rewards like that. You go, oh, there's a big lead. Is it still alive? No, it was the down ball. I thought it might have hit off Keegan's foot. Kept alive, but everyone saw it down and went down really fast by McGuinness.
Yeah, that looked like a warm-up swing from Ali McGuinness. He got blocked a couple of times going for the cross court. Now he went for the line. Really well done to adjust to the Irish block.
We'll see what he does with his jump serve. Oh, there's a call for a rotation. Jordan Donnelly went a little too early. He went before the toss of Ali McGuinness. Second referee, Aidan McDonald, calls it for a rotation fault. We'll see what happens here again. Does he go too quick? Now we can go. And they do.
Nice
Everyone
pass.
pops it up down. They go up behind on once. Sonny Amada hits that, but they pick it up. So, there's another high roll there by the setter. Oh, and he's got the block on it, and it's gone off the top of the post. It's going to be a touch off. A point for Northern Ireland.
Yeah, Davern was able to keep that ball up, but unfortunately just landing on the post there.
Look at that now. It's now Northern Ireland who have the advantage here at 18 points to 17. McGuinness up to the service plate again. Jump serves it. Goes big. Oh, it's going to go off the net. It's going to be a scrap. Pull back over. Northern Ireland to go into the middle. Go into a big middle. Sam was there. He had the hands on it, unfortunately. Dipped over the sideline and out. So it's now resulted in a 2-point advantage for Northern Ireland.
Yeah, so far Hassan has done a really good job at reading the blockers, but unfortunately this time he wasn't able to place his hands properly and that ball landing just out.
Well, Ireland did scrap very well in trying to keep the ball alive, but need to be a little bit more assured in getting solid reception, so at least they have all their options. Not much in it, is there, Katarina?
No, I mean, as you said, it ebbs and it flows. Right now, this first set, if it's any indication, this game could go very long. Both teams are having some really great moments and then maybe moments where they're making a few too many mistakes in a row. So far, Ireland has found themselves to be scrapping the ball a lot more in defense than they probably thought they would be, because as long as they were able to get themselves into system, they were able to do some really amazing things in hitting. But also their block has been working really well, which is a really good indication. So it's time to try and fix maybe some of those receptions and the defensive efforts to put themselves in system more.
Well, let's see what happens now in the next couple of minutes. We're just going to be still on McGuinness's serve here. Big jump server, big hitter in Northern Ireland. Big player. Oh, it was. I don't know what to say about that anyway, but well done, Coach Bell, for calling the timeout when you did.
Yeah, we call that a coach's point in volleyball.
Anyway, ball goes back into Ireland's court now. It's O'Riordan up to float service. Goes down the line, hits on the libero, but libero deals with it as a high 4 out hit. Very good use, using the ball off the setter's block hands. Generally, setters would be one of the smallest blockers on the team. And he's used to good avail there.
Yeah, once again, Paddy Daly doing a really good job. You know, he saw the shorter block and used his hands.
Is there a bit of confusion on the second referee's part with the scorekeeper? He's just trying to figure out the rotation. No, they just don't have the set score on the part of the scoreboard. In any case, much ado about nothing. Back to the play.
20 serving 18.
Oh, that's out. Line judge was straight up with that.
Yeah, good leave.
A good relief for Ireland anyway. There's going to be a substitution here now. Hassan is going to be subbed off for, if I'm not mistaken, is this Garrido? Number 1. No, sorry, Mark Bumate, as he'll be coming on, being a specialist server in this regard. I wouldn't expect him to be playing middle at the net. Hopefully he can bring a point or two to the Irish team. Big jump serve. Oh yeah, he aims it long at the libero, so now they're a bit out of system. Oh, there's a big hit on that, but a nice pick up by Bumate. And a swing on there by Sonny, so Ireland will recycle. They go in middle again to Julian. He finds a nice area over in zone 1, but Northern Ireland do very well to keep it alive. Let's see what happens. Mark pops it in. Oh, and there's a nice move on that. A good disguise by Jordan Donnelly. Commits the block. So it ends up being a free hit for Julian in the middle. Hits it over to zone 5. Very good point by Ireland.
Yeah, exactly. That's all they needed to do, get themselves in system. But also shout out to Mark Bumate coming in with a really strong serve, and then what an impressive defense, making sure that Ireland stays in this game.
Well, I'm unsure about that defense, if it was by design or by accident, but he was in the right place at the right time to keep the ball up, and that's all that Ireland will care about.
Yeah, sometimes that's all you need to do.
Another jump serve by him, very nice. Going down towards Nievic's side. Oh, there's a net touch. Free point for Ireland. Lack of discipline there with the overpass. Unfortunately, on his way down, touched the net. Another timeout. Second timeout called by Northern Ireland by Colin Grieve.
Yeah,
Ireland have their little momentum now. This is their ebbing.
Yeah, exactly. Now it's 21 serving 20. So Ireland have the lead again, but we've seen this lead change up so many times throughout this first set. Let's remember, you guys, this is only the first set. So Ireland doing a really good job right now. It's important that they maintain the focus, that they keep doing what they're doing. Northern Ireland will be looking to regroup. Obviously, they know that they can get the lead back. They've done it multiple times throughout the set. So maybe all they needed was a break to regather. But so far, Boutame doing a really good job at the service line. And also, compared to Zakir Hassan, he's just a little shorter, so he's able to help in defense a little bit more efficiently. So Ireland really have a golden opportunity right now.
Well, let's see if they can continue the little bit of good fortune right now that they've built upon themselves. With Bumate's serve, third time of asking. He does go for a bigger swing, went for it all right, but lacked a bit of control, goes out to the left side of Ireland's.
Yeah, you see that happen very often after a timeout. You know, we saw it before. Coach Graham Bell calling a timeout, and then Northern Ireland missing the serve, and now back the other way.
He was in too early. Keegan Davern anyway. Now they can make the substitution a bit more legal. In any case, it's going to be Northern Ireland now.
Luther McKilveen at the serve.
Reardon deals with it well. It's now Peter McGlynn. He's tried to take a swing at it, but I think the set went over the net. He couldn't get a hand on it just in time. It bounces out on the Northern Ireland side. So now it's Northern Ireland who have the little lead right now. 22 points to 21. Short float over McGlynn's side to go again to Julian in the middle. He ends up tipping it. Like, well, he makes up for it anyway with that monster block. Just standing in the right position as the set ended up being too tight on the Northern Ireland side. So easy to deal with by Julian.
Yeah, really well done from Julian. You know, he didn't get the set that he wanted right before so that he could hit that, but he was patient and he waited and he read that set from Northern Ireland really well.
Here we go with John Donnelly's serve. He's like perfect in there. Lynn tried to team up there with Julian for a double block. Was a little bit passive with his hands and ends up hitting off his arms and over to the left-hand side. Point for Northern Ireland. 23-22.
Yeah, once again, the block from Ireland, reading that really well, but as you said, just the hand placement and the commitment to that block was not as ideal.
And it went behind there to McGlynn. Picked up by Northern Ireland. They go big as well to McGuinness, but he overhits it. Tried to use all the distance that he could possibly play with, but unfortunately he went a metre too long. So ball back to Ireland.
And we're tied at 23. And that's what effective blocking can do to you. You know, McGuinness has been blocked a couple times in this set, going for the cross court, so he tried to fix it, but unfortunately puts the ball out.
It's going to be important anyway. McGlynn's there anyway to scoop up at the back. He's going to go to rear, and he goes hitting high, very smart, hits high off the block, giving no chance for the backcourt players of Northern Ireland to regroup the ball. It's now a resulting set point for Ireland.
Yeah, or Jordan showing how you use the block to your advantage. He hit that as high as he possibly could and calculated that perfectly. That ball touching the hands of the Northern Ireland block and landing out.
McGlynn to serve the libero. Workman deals with it, pops it in. Oh, I don't know what the setter was trying to do. He's trying to set the pipe anyway. It's Julian, middle blocker to set into Killian O'Riordan. He's going to be recycled again. He's in a standing position to hit. Picked up by libero of Northern Ireland to go behind there with a big swing by Niewicz. Sonny Brennan was never going to get that, no matter how tall he is and how good his jump is. It's just too close to the curtain. Well saved by Northern Ireland. Yeah,
really impressive swing by Niewicz. That ball was far outside of the antenna, but he somehow managed to cut that cross court into position one. A really impressive hit, well done. And he will go back to serve.
Well, we'll see what happens here now. Level, he goes big. Keegan Davin did well get arms on it, but it's gone over to the other side. There's another big swing on it. It's kept alive by Donnelly. So libero will get onto it. So it's now O'Riordan's turn. What will Jordan do? He sets behind to Sonny. There's a big swing on it. It's kept alive anyway. We're going out to 4 in a single line. Okay. Donnelly now sets to O'Riordan. It's big hit and a big movement. And a big kill by O'Riordan. He's a big-time player, O'Riordan.
Yeah, he's really been showing himself as the one to rely on when it's most needed. You know, we saw Jordan Donnelly go to a few different players in this rally, but O'Riordan getting the point when it really matters.
Indeed. Don't be fooled by his size anyway. It's not about the size. It's what you do with the ball. Now, the third time of asking, Julian Naguna goes for his float this time. Aims it on the outside 4, so they're going to go behind there to McGuinness, who adds all the courts. Even with a late block, could afford another extra second or two there.
Yeah, not the strongest hit by McGuinness, but he does a really good job at seeing that the block is a little bit late on that and just places it down.
But equally good was the set anyway to make split the block. Now, where they go, and Ireland does their exact same, but no one's ready on the pipe. McGlynn wasn't there. Now it's their turn to hit the pipe, and the line judge calling it in. Very assertive with the call. Is now set point, Northern Ireland, 26-25.
Yeah, as you said, Benny, it ebbs and it flows, and we're already into overtime in this first set.
Dealt with nicely by O'Riordan to go behind to Sonny, who uses the height of the hands off the block, and again a hard hit, smack it hard. Could go anywhere. And there he goes again, over the head of person in zone 6. That's going to be a kill point for Sonny Yamada.
Yeah, really impressive hit. Also using the block to his advantage, but once again Hassan faking a hit and disguising the block and confusing the Northern Ireland block.
It's a strong flow. What's happening? It's out. Line judge calls it out. I hope we won't live to regret it on that anyway. Anyway, Ireland need to regroup on it and straight away get the side out off this service from McGuinness.
Yeah, we've seen him put in a couple of strong serves. Let's see what he does now.
He takes the pace off it, so it's easy for Ireland to go into Hassan. There's something happening there at the net. What's happening at the net?
Yeah, he really wanted that hit. His
He
son
got the
getting
hit anyway. It must have been the whistle from the girls' side I was still listening to. But anyway, it was a very clean hit by Hassan to force the error of Northern Ireland, the defence, to put it out. Size level again. O'Riordan to serve. A very reliable serve going cross court with his float. However, Northern Ireland have a big chance again. Hassan's big there. Huge reach over the net. That block was definitely sealed between him and Donnelly. Shut the door fairly fast.
Yeah, Hassan doing an amazing job so far. You know, this is his first international competition. He hasn't been on any international team, and he's had such an impact so far. Really well done.
We'll see what happens. He's getting hands on it again, so Ireland have a chance to recycle. Not quite. And then the kill for number 13 from Northern Ireland. That's Riley. Swings it over there on zone 1. Sonny did his best to get hands on it, but just not good enough.
Yeah, Ireland managed to keep that ball up, but then unfortunately they were all way too close to the net, and Sonny was just falling backwards as he tried to keep that ball in play.
So on goes. McLean takes the chance to swing on it, and again, the use of the block hands is always helping the attacker for the last couple of points for both sides. Another set point for Ireland, and it's going to be Hassan.
29 serving 28, and this is just the first set.
It's not been a bad all first set by Hassan here. Can he do something with his serve? It's a lovely strong float serve. Oh, it's still alive anyway by Northern Ireland, but they've involved in a bad pass by Workman. But anyway, there's an overpass. Why didn't Donnelly get up to contest on it? Donnelly should have gone up there, even if he knew that the pass was going over the net. Should at least have the hands there for a potential joust, not give a free dump to the Northern Ireland player.
Yeah, that was an unfortunate mistake, but when you get to these points like this, so far into a set, mentally you can also drop a bit of a misjudged call, but that can happen.
Yeah, it's just human nature anyway. It's deuce here, sides are level. Donnelly's going into the back one. Oh, is the referee not calling on that? Okay, Sonny Yamada must be below the height of the line. And there's a big swing by McGuinness. He's calling it out. Line judge is calling it out. First referee, Jimenez, calls it out too. Trust the judgment of the line judge there at the back court on the Irish side.
Yeah, McGuinness was looking for the hands, but unfortunately could not find them. So Ireland will go back to serve.
So, can Jordan Donnelly do what he did in the first point of this and get an ace for Ireland to close off the set? He goes long to the backcourt passer. So there's a chance there to swing, and look at that. Sonny Yamada, welcome home. Finish off the set with a stuff block. It goes over the head of the libero and into the back zone 5. Ireland finally takes set 1 on a score line of 31 points to 29.
Yeah, really impressive first set. Both of these teams showing that they're quite evenly matched. Ireland really showing up when it truly mattered, but they had some highlight performances. We mentioned Killian O'Riordan doing a really good job in the long rallies, getting the point when it mattered. A really strong debut performance from Zakir Hassan. On the side of Northern Ireland, maybe they gave away a little too many mistakes at the start of the set. We saw them miss the serve a couple times, and then towards the end we saw some hitting errors. But also what was working really well for Ireland is the block, which we haven't seen as much from Northern Ireland. So really impressive job from Ireland, especially mentally, to get that win in that first set. Going so far into set 1, winning 31 to 29, you know, it can do a lot for you mentally as you go into the next sets.
Well, you see, there's a couple of experienced players on the bench for Northern Ireland. They're warming up in front of me. Peter Stewart, captain of this Northern Ireland team. He's been involved in the Northern Ireland setup. I've known since he was 15 years old, maybe even earlier. Very committed to volleyball. Very good beach volleyball player as well. I think Northern Ireland could do with his valuable experience and know-how on the court. If they want to turn the tide in their favor.
Yeah, let's see if Coach Grieve sticks to the same starting 6. And depending on how the next set goes, we might see some other players from the Northern Ireland bench coming in. As you said, they have some experienced players. We might see them come in later in the game. But obviously, Northern Ireland should not be counted out. They did a really good job in that first set. It was, you know, they lost that first set by such a small margin. The lead was constantly going back and forth. They definitely have a lot more to give, and they did a really good job so far. So they will be looking to continue where they left off. They weren't doing too many things wrong, I would say. So they will be looking to maintain the momentum and simply just make sure that they have a clear head in the moments that really matter and winning more long rallies, because as I said, those mentally can help your team push even further.
Well, nothing between the sides anyway, as we went into overtime in that first set. Only the drop of a ball or the hit off a block separated the sides. And it's Ireland with advantage after set 1. Can they continue on where they left off, or will Northern Ireland have something different up their sleeves to change the momentum in their favour? Set 2 about to begin. Both teams ready to enter the court again. Rotations are gone in.
We see the same starting players line up on the side of the court. So yeah, both coaches will rely on the same players, which is to be expected. You know, Coach Grieve will look to keep the same players in and see how they respond. And then depending on how the set goes, make changes or not. But as I said, they lost by such a small margin. I think he's going to trust his players to do what needs to be done to recover from that first set. And Graham Bell keeping the same players in, because they've got the momentum right now. They were able to show up when it really mattered. So he's going to keep the trust in the same players.
Yeah, you can't fault really any of the players on that set. It was very good by the majority of them. They all had a very steady performance, as you kind of expect at international level, with a few players kind of standing out. As already mentioned, a few of the players that have been introduced to the Irish squad, or even restarting again with the Irish squad, with the likes of Peter McLean, Sonny Amada, but also take good note of the huge reach of the middle blocker in Hassan, number 14 for Ireland. It'll be Northern Ireland now, their turn to start off the set. Once they've cleared up any other drops of water near the scorekeeping desk.
And it will be Miles Riley from Northern Ireland starting us off in this second set.
Well, here we go. We're going to kick it off. See what's going to happen. Wait. It's too early on it. There's something happening. Even the second referee wasn't in place. I think the referee is just telling his Northern Ireland player that you either have to sit down on the bench or stand in the corner with the rest of your team. Much ado about nothing again. Anyway, let's start again at the first point, second set. Not so well this time. Second time of asking, must have thrown him off a little bit, because that serve went to the side and out.
Yeah, that's a bit unfortunate sometimes when you have a bit too long of a pause as you expected. That can really get into your head. So, Jordan Donnelly once again at the serve.
Workman puts it up there. They go out to McGuinness, who hits hard off the hands of Julian Laguna. And it goes off to the side and out, so point for Northern Ireland. They can get motoring on. 1-1.
Yeah, really smart hit. As we said, the Irish block has been working in overtime, but McGuinness manages to sneak that ball through and using the block to his advantage.
Yeah, you always need to have a couple of aces in your sleeves anyway, what you need to do in your scoring strategy at the net, where you are in relation to the ball. Something happening there. Maria Jimenez calls for a legal backcourt attack, so I think Jordan Donnelly had passed the ball over the net and touched it above the height of the net as well, so Jimenez, referee, from net force down in the county of Cork. Read that well. Very experienced referee here on the Irish circuit. And Jordan Donnelly was honest about it as well to admit the mistake. Anyway, Northern Ireland will serve again here now.
With Mika Newitz.
Goes strong onto Killian O'Riordan, who sets a short one behind to McLean, but they're going on the pipe. But oh, is referee not going to call that? She is. Everyone knew with the trajectory of that ball that was going to be a double contact. So a free point for Ireland.
Yeah, just a reminder of these new rules. If it's a double contact when it goes on the other side of the net, it gets called, as we just saw. So Ireland will get the serve back with Peter McGlynn.
Again, a little bit too early for referees' liking. There's a lot of whistles going on as there's another game on beside us here in the same venue with the senior women's game. Where you can watch it also on YouTube.
Yeah, so Captain Davern just clearing things up with the referee.
Anyway, Peter McLean, take two. Serves is in the Nebits' direction to easily deal with. Oh, look at that. Sonny Yamada had the hands ready there. The set was a little bit low by Miles Riley. There had to be a quick swing on it there. But Irish block was safe and secure. Put the ball down.
Yeah, now I don't have the exact count, but Son Yamada has gotten a couple points from hitting, but I think he got even more points from blocking. He's doing a really good job at that.
There's a big one out to McGuinness, but Keegan Darren reads it up. Oh, tries to get into with a block fake, but that swing on pipe there, McGlynn, unfortunately sails outside the back line. Results in an error with a point for Northern Ireland. Ball in their court again.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, that was the first pipe attack from Ireland in this match. So really nice to see them vary their offense, but unfortunately... I
think they got a little bit too cocky there in the last few moments. Just lost a little bit of concentration there from Captain Davern there. Big rough for Ireland. And equally, it was a equally good serve there by Tom Albert. Aim at Killian O'Riordan again, very steady. Oh, and there's a huge reach for the spike there by Sonny Yamada. The block could do nothing about. It goes down on the Northern Ireland side. So ball back in Ireland's courts.
Yeah, really nice set from Donnelly there. Yamada just speeding up his approach a little bit, pushing that ball through the block.
Let's see what Julian Naguna does. He tried with his jump serves in set one. They weren't working out. He went to revert third time to a flow serve. He's gone back to the flow serve. It's proven effective anyway because Northern Ireland are out of system. They go for a wild swing. Oh, it was so far out by Paddy Daly. But again, it started from the pass. Started from the serve, throws off with the pass. Tried to go 1-2 with his setter, Paddy.
Yeah, and as a coach, you don't want your players to necessarily always send over an easy free ball, but maybe he just got a bit overconfident in that.
Well, he's trying again there, but this time he makes up for it. Hits hard, hard, hard into the block of Sonny Yamada this time, who didn't have enough penetration over the net. Ball falls down at his feet. Ali McGuinness is a big, big player for Northern Ireland on the opposite. Let's see what happens with his jump serve on this occasion. It's a lovely swing. Unfortunately, puts too much juice in the all caboose. And goes as Maria Jimenez does there. Out.
And it will be Sonny Yamada at the serve as Ireland leads 6-5. Once again, another close set.
Both teams have their setter up front court. See if there might be a couple of dumps thrown in this round of play. As Jordan Donnelly sets out to Killian Reardon, set out swing, but again McLean is out the back to cover it up, to go at it again. He hits hard. Oh, he's a lovely swing onto that, but I think second referee Aidan McDonald calls a net touch on the block from Northern Ireland. Very good swinging by O'Riordan there again. He is a very, very steady player for this Irish setup. Brings tons of experience, loads of years playing in the Irish setup. And you can see there, you might be fooled by his size, but don't be fooled by the way he plays volleyball. Yeah, it was very, very tight at the net there. They're going to go behind on the back court. McGuinness takes a big swing over in Yama's direction, but Keegan Darren gets it up. Oh, really tried to be smart about it, tipping it long down the line, but didn't get the cleanest of touches, and unfortunately it was a little bit crooked out to the side of Northern Ireland's court. So.
Yeah, it was a really difficult set coming from right behind him, so he wasn't able to see the court as he wanted. So Riordan just placing that ball just wide, but the intention was really smart and it was really good. Just the execution missed it a bit.
Paddy Daly gets a decent serve. Jordan Donnelly has to go off his position, step back behind to Sonny. It's easy picked up. They go into the middle again. It's the first time they've gone into the middle. Oh, something happened there again. There's a lift. They call it the lift after Hassan got the hands on it. Tried to be a retrieve there by McAveen, but Maria Jimenez actually held the ball a little bit too long for everybody's liking. Calls a grab ball. Point for Ireland.
And it will be Riordan at the serve as Ireland leads by 2.
Goes down the line channel anyway, but it's easily picked up there by Daly. Where was the block by Donnelly? He wasn't there, but thankfully he's rescued by his backcourt. Workman picks it up again for a recycled ball to McGuinness, who volleys it down into Davern's position, but easily there. Oh, look at that man hanging in the air. Hassan. Hassan, what do you like?
He's done a really good job so far. Sometimes all you need to do is be tall and be in the right place. He was patient, he kept his arm up, and just tapped the ball down, doing exactly what he's expected to do.
Loads of space there. Caught the Northern Ireland defense off guard. Weren't alert to it, they're all expecting the big attack. That was his first tip of the game anyway. It was a tip to some avail. A point for Ireland.
Yeah, he's showing really good versatility. You know, he's been good in blocking, good in hitting, good at tipping now. You know, really making himself a threat for Northern Ireland.
Very much so. Our current MVP, I would suggest right now. Anyway, it's a long way to go. Sonny Yamada could have been going for that MVP, would have thought, but I think the stars were in his eyes there. It went out of his head as that ball went out.
Yeah, that set was just a little bit too low. He tried to go for the aggressive swing, but unfortunately sending that ball out.
Well, still advantage Ireland with 2 points on their northern counterparts. Here it goes on. Good pass there by Davern. Now this time he's trying to make up for it. And he makes up for it there after that last attack. Get a clean swing at that. Loads of space to put the ball down.
Yeah,
Duly obliged.
Yeah, and I really like Donnelly going back to him, really establishing trust in his hitters. You know, just because your hitter makes a mistake doesn't necessarily mean that they've, you know, completely gone away mentally. So I really like to see Donnelly really establish him early, showing him, hey, I trust you, you can do this. And Sonny Yamada responding present.
A sign of a good leader of the attack anyway. When you have a setter thinking like that, building trust with their hitters. Also building trust in the block as well. Donnelly got hands on that. Anyway, Ireland can recycle onto it. Oh, I don't know what he was doing there. He was in. Yeah. He thought he could do it even when he was falling down, but didn't get the right contact on it and fell straight down after he touched the ball. Anyway, that was a good serve again by Mark Bumate, but again he's subbed off. Wait for Hassan to go back on the front court.
Yeah, unfortunately that happens to the best of us. Sometimes it can just be a bit of uncertainty about where you're going to set, or the ball might have been sweaty. Just an unfortunate mistake to forget about and move on to the next play.
Definitely. Well, we're still here live at Tallaght University, Dublin, watching the senior men's encounter between Ireland and Northern Ireland. So Ireland will have a slender advantage, one set up.
Miles Riley serving. Looks for Jordan.
Oh, there's something happened there. How? Oh my God, McGuinness missed the ball completely. Donnelly put him off as he went up for the joust, and the ball falls down at McGuinness's feet. Oh, it's definitely one to forget, Katerina.
Yeah, really well disguised play by Donnelly, you know, making up for the previous mistake. Caught the Northern Irish block off guard.
Well, he's now determined up at the serving line. Aims it at Workman. Workman on Carrick, we have a pass off and a lovely pick up by Donnelly. So it's Keegan Darvin passing over to Sonny Yama's high reach, and he's the one who rolls it into the campfire.
Yeah, really nice court vision. He saw a big block ahead of him. We saw him go a few different directions in previous hits, and this time just perfectly placing it in the campfire, a really difficult place for anyone to defend.
Yeah, and that results in Callum Grieve, coach of Northern Ireland, to take the first time out for Northern Ireland in this second set. Very nice use of the ball. Everyone's kind of expecting big hits all the time, but when you throw in a sneaky, soft one like that, it can really catch people off guard in the defense.
Yeah, exactly. All the hitters from Ireland so far have shown great versatility in hitting. You know, we've seen a couple of hitting mistakes, but what I really like about this Ireland team is the way that they respond to the mistakes. You know, I'm going to make a mistake now, but then I'm going to make sure that my reception is going really well or that my serve is really strong. You know, they try to compensate for any mistakes. And right now that's working really well for them. The main thing about Northern Ireland is that they're trying to find a way around the defense of Ireland as well. You know, Ireland is defending nearly everything, and Northern Ireland is simply just trying to find a way around this Irish team that's defending absolutely everything.
Well, Northern Ireland are trying their best to get around it, but one thing is for sure, the block is very, very strong for Ireland so far in this match. Donnelly to serve, goes down the line, goes into Workman's direction. Big set behind there, but Nevets can only punch it over. They're gone into Julian Nuguna, and he had a clean swing at it, but unfortunately travels to the outside of the sideline of Northern Ireland. Results in a mistake, ball out.
Yeah, his shoulders were facing the cross court. Just angled it a little bit bad. With his shoulders, just might be time to turn more facing towards the court.
We'll see if Donnelly sets him in the middle like what he did before to Sonny Yamaha. Well, we'll never know anyway, because Nievets blasted that into the middle of the net. So ball back to Ireland.
Yeah, that's really a shame because Nievets has had such a strong serve that managed to put a strong Irish serve receive in difficulty. So that's an unfortunate error. He will be looking to fix that in his next rotation because his serve has been really strong throughout this match and he wants that back.
And McGlynn pops it down into Workman's direction. Ball set behind there to McGuinness. That was a lovely clean spike down into the zone 5 direction. Big kill by McGuinness. He needed that.
Yeah, he's one of Northern Ireland's strong hitters. You know, he's been blocked a few times throughout this match, but it's nice to see him warm up to the match as the game goes on.
Well, Killian goes 1-2 with Donnelly. Tries to be smart with the tip as well, but Northern Ireland had the ball, but it's too easy to pick up from McGlynn at the back. They go fast in the middle to Julian Naguna. But this time it's going to be a bigger swinger out in number 11 for Northern Ireland. He gets the point out of it. Paddy Daly, the one that wins the point for the Nordies.
So Tom Aldworth will keep the serve. Yeah, so far in this previous rally, we saw some really good scrappy plays from Northern Ireland. They were able to defend the ball multiple times and put themselves in a good position to hit, so they will keep the serve.
See what happens here. It's the second service error now in a row from Northern Ireland. It's not really helping them to get back into midway through the second set. 14 points to 11 in Ireland's favour. Julian is going to stick with this float serve now for the rest of it. As you see there, proves way more valuable than his jump serve so far today. Another ace in this set by Julian Naguna of Balbriggan.
Yeah, really nice serve, especially because I find that Northern Ireland has been receiving extremely well so far. You know, the setter seems to have the ball on top of his head all the time. So that might just show a bit of a mental downwards moment from Northern Ireland.
Well, they've been forced into more mistakes by Ireland. They're putting more pressure on it when they have the ball. Bigger hits. He went for the jump serve again. Maybe Coach Bell will have a word with him to stick with it. He has his hands in his face like that. He should have stuck with the same, but he trusted his jump serve on this occasion. But again, another service error. Now we see the introduction of Captain Peter Stewart from Ballymoney, number 18 for Northern Ireland. He's probably going to settle the nerves of a couple of these new, inexperienced young lads and try and get them back into this game.
And number 17, Jason Martin coming in, and he will start with the serve. So a double substitution, just trying to change the momentum.
And there's going to be more word from the first referee about the bench. Probably that the bench is up a little bit too high from the zone area. Or maybe the changes need to be a little bit more rapid between libero and middles. In any case, it's all technical mumbo jumbo. The most important thing is serving coming in here. Number 17 for Northern Ireland pops it over in the libero's direction, with Jordan Donnelly can settle back behind off to Sonny Yamada, and again uses the hands of Paddy Daly to his own advantage there, and the ball goes off the hands wide on the Northern Ireland side. So another swing kill for Sonny Yamada. Brendan.
Yeah, he's done a really impressive job so far, really showing people that he should have been missed, and he's had an incredible impact. He took a bit of time to warm up in the first set, but in the second set, he's been confident from the very first set that he got.
He's showing in his volleyball here anyway. Play goes on, go a little bit low with the set anyway. Okay, Hassan has to put it over on second. Peter Stewart, look at that. That's the Peter Stewart I know for many a year. High reach, knows how to give the down ball.
Yeah, really impressive swing. Once again, he had the shorter block of Jordan Donnelly, and he decided to just crush that ball.
Oh, he crushed it all right. I think it was just inside the 3-meter line on the Irish side. So, you know, Ireland need to get full hands on his swings. Anyway, play goes on. Received there by McLean. Now they go on to Brennan again on the backcourt opposite. Stewart brings it down. Oh, they're going in pipe. Peter, and he hits off the net anyway, so it's a forward touch by Ireland.
Yeah, it's nice to see Ireland vary their offense. Once again, that's their second pipe that they tried to run in the second set, and unfortunately not going how they wanted.
Well, Paddy Daly is now going to be up to serve. Flood serves it again in McLean's direction, but again easily dealt with. To go again behind to Brennan.
Impressive dig.
Picked up at the back by Daly. Oh, and it's kept alive just about with a hand again. Scrapping it to keep it back in zone one. It's up and down anyway. Nevitz swings, lots of power, manages to burst the Irish block and get a point out of it, which results in Graham Bell's first time out in set two.
Yeah, you could say the changes on this Northern Ireland side have worked really well. You know, we're seeing a different kind of energy on the side of Northern Ireland, and Graham Bell just trying to make sure that Ireland does not lose their focus entirely. Their lead is now only 1 point. They're leading 16-15. So Graham Bell just trying to break this new momentum that Northern Ireland have found.
Well, we'll see what happens when we resume the play anyway. The breaking play will hopefully regroup the Irish team a little bit better anyway over those last 2 to 3 points, and just do what they do best. Just get back to business, side out as quickly as possible and move on.
Yeah, Paddy Daly will be serving now.
He put a little bit more pressure on the serve. He's aimed at McLean twice now. This time he goes at Killian Reardon and he mixed it up again. Killian was caught off guard. Uncharacteristic error by the Munster Thunder man, which resulted in an ace this time for Paddy Daly.
Yeah, Reardon has been targeted in serve receive a lot. I'm not surprised to see him make a mistake. It can happen when you're targeted this much.
Oh, he's hitting off the net, was kept it alive. What will Reardon do? He does go hard at it. Will he recycle out? He recycles out to Reardon, and again there's a stuff block on it. You can see the difference a person of the caliber of Peter Stewart brings to a team. Momentum now swung back in Northern Ireland's favour. 17 points to 16. Here we go again with Daly serve. Will he aim it in O'Riordan's direction? Kick the line channel. No, he goes at the libero this time, but he deals with it. And look at that big reach. Oh! Line judge calls it in. Coach Callum Grieve, Northern Ireland, doesn't necessarily agree with that, but you can do. If your line judge is as assertive and your first referee takes your word for it.
Yeah, now Donnelly and Hassan just clearing things up. Hassan was facing the cross court a little bit too much. That ball just tagging the outside line.
Good use of the serve by Reardon, but they're going to go back to Peter Stewart. He couldn't do nothing about it. The set was pushed out way too far over around the referee's podium direction. Very little angle to work with. He didn't even reach the net with his roll. Good serve by Reardon there. Can he do it again? Going down this line channel to number 11. He does. He's dealt with this time. Ball goes out to Neves. Oh, that's a powerful hit. That's ridiculous. Very good swing.
Yeah, really impressive swing by Nieves. But also shout out to the new setter on court, Jason Martin, pushing that ball really, really fast. The block from Ireland has been working really, really well, but with a set that fast, it can be hard to follow. So an impressive set.
Can do is to join up the double block, and you see there was a huge gap between the two blockers. Now it's Hassan's turn, going with a higher reach. Reardon scraps for it again. It's going to be Hassan to push it over with his high reach. He's going to be happy there for Peter Stewart's level. The play still goes on. McGlynn tried his best on the third touch, but to no avail. Again, look at that. When you got the likes of Peter Stewart floating around there, everyone else seems to grow half a foot then. Well, Luther McAveen, what will you do with this serve? There's a sub happening here again. Is there? No, it's just a replacement. There is. Number 12 is on court here now for Ireland, so a new middle. Get him out, he's starting over in zone 2, but they're going to go out to reliable McGlynn, who's very reliable, hitting it high off the hands of number 5 there, Tom Albert, middle blocker for Northern Ireland, and getting the point back in the serve to Ireland.
Yeah, now Rory McKenna with his first serve of this match. He was just substituted in for Zakir Hassan. Let's see what he can do from the 9-meter line.
See, indeed. Little conversation with the referees there. I don't know if it's in relation to a couple of things first referee is seen, the second referee isn't seen, or maybe just to stop the delays in play when it comes to the substitutions. In any case, the players can't be allowing themselves to be affected by it. Oh, there's going to be a replay on the point, so the second referee saw something, so they have to go back to it again. This doesn't make sense, I think. So there's something going on with that substitution that shouldn't have happened, because Hassan is now back on the court. Zakir Hassan, you see him over there starting in zone 2 with the setter Jordan Donnelly at the net. So there's a little bit of a complication that needs to be ironed out here, because Northern Ireland are saying if the guy who just came on wasn't allowed to be on, then it would be a rotation fault. Ian McDonald is now consulting with his scorekeepers there as they're looking at the old school paper sheet, like who was there on the score sheet and they were allowed to be subbed. I would think so, because they're on our team list. Rory McKenna is here. So are they going to go back to McAveen's serve? There's a rotation fault, I think. Coach Grieve here in Northern Ireland is probably saying it as well. You know, let's use this to our advantage here now. We've just gotten an extra free point from a lack of concentration on the Irish side, so still unsure of what happened there, Katerina.
I think the referees are just trying to iron out the details. To be perfectly honest, I'm also unsure.
Well, there was a substitution in this particular area here.
Yeah, we see Hassan back on the court. So they are going to replay the point.
No, it's going to be a change in score here. Is he moving us up to 20 for Northern Ireland now? More consultation happening between the referees. McDonald's going up to Maria Jimenez. Even the players are kind of scratching their heads, wondering how this is going to end with the outcome. Grieve is almost 100% sure that it would be a rotation fault on Ireland's part. But Maria Jimenez, first referee there on the podium, There are 2 thumbs up. Replay the points.
So Luther McIlveen would get us started after a long break.
We'll go down into zone 2 there, so we're going to go out to Peter McGlynn on zone 4. It's recycled by Northern Ireland again. The back set was a little bit off, but there's a little bit of a touch, wobbly touch by O'Riordan. Anyway, play goes on. This time it's a better set. I don't think that hit off the block at all. Yes, exactly. It hit off the top of the tape and went out. The block was nowhere near it. So a bit of luck from Ireland there. And Hassan will be up to serve this time.
Yeah, we saw a bit of a header there from one of the Irish players. Just a bit of a miscommunication.
Oh, I know. Remember that prior to in the set, Mark Boumete was up for serve earlier for Hassan, so there was a bad substitution that the scorekeepers should have rectified quickly. But anyway, there was a big hit there by McGlynn, but it was an even bigger block by Northern Ireland. Huge pick up there at the back. Thumbs up there. Number 11.
Paddy Daly with an amazing defense, and then Northern Ireland, these 2 substitutions have been working really well for them, and now they get a block.
Timeout call by Coach Bell there, probably rightly so to take it out, because there's been a lot of unnecessary action that has impeded on the flow of this game in the last couple of minutes. So time to take a breather, take a drink anyway, regather the troops. Get them setting out. What do you think the Coach Bell would be saying to the Irish players right now?
Yeah, I think it's already a tight match as is. I think the Irish players are just simply kind of getting out of their head, losing a bit of focus because of the long break, which is understandable. So we saw him take a quick timeout. So he clearly trusts his players, does not want to overload them with information since we just had a long and confusing break for them. So I think he's just looking to break the momentum, take a break of his own under his own team's terms, and just sending them back in.
Let's see if they can put the theory into practice. We want to resume here with Peter Stewart serving. I've known Peter Stewart to be a jump server. Really do what I know of him. A little bit of fussiness from the first referee anyway. He's going to float serve it on this. Goes down into McGlynn's direction. It goes big into Julian Naguna. Northern Ireland were claiming a hit off the net. Oh, and he manages to drive it hard enough now through the block there. Number 5 for Northern Ireland did his best, Tom Alworth. Yes, Ireland will get the point from big swing from McGlynn.
Yeah, really impressive job on his second swing in that rally, trying to fix and manages to get the point.
He goes down the middle to Daly. Oh, it was smart. Oh, there could be a call of the lift. No, Jimenez says play on. Oh, and again another sneaky one, and never mind lift. So it's very good by the introduction of our new setter. 2 times you would have thought there would have been a lift call, but very, very smart placement with his dumps.
Yeah, really good job from Davern to try and read that ball. The first one might have been called a lift, but the referee didn't call it, and then Davern reading that ball again, but just unable to keep that ball up as he wanted.
Jason Martin has definitely got a decent connection with Peter Stewart here. The introduction of the 2 players from Northern Ireland have definitely turned the tide in their favour and has brought a different impact to this game.
Yeah, they're playing with a lot of confidence. They're using their experience and really guiding this team. You know, I think Jason Martin has done a really good job at speeding up the offense of Northern Ireland, because that's the thing that I think they were struggling with the most, getting around the block. You know, Ireland's block is doing a really good job. And now, thanks to Jason Martin, he's trying to speed up his attackers, trying to get them to attack faster.
Yeah, so you can try and find holes in the block there, and with the speed of the sets now, you can see that there are gaps that Northern Ireland can exploit and get 2 points and get the ball down. Anyway, here we go again. Nievitz to serve. Lovely high pass into Donnelly, who's... Oh, a beautiful 1-2 there with Peter McGlynn, the Slovakia-based winger for Ireland, number 10. It's a big cross-court shot over into zone 1, using every inch of the Northern Ireland area to play around with, and it's duly rewarded. Now it's his turn to serve. Sides are level, 21 all. Oh, it was a lively put down ball. He's on his own side, using all of his reach there, Julian Laguna. And now it's Northern Ireland's turn to take the time out. Ebbs and flows seems to be the theme of this game.
Yeah, once again, you know, Ireland was leading throughout the majority of this set, and then thanks to these two changes from Northern Ireland, they started to make a little bit of a comeback. It's good to see Ireland keep their cool after a long pause, and then they took their own timeout. They seem to have come out stronger after that timeout, and they've gotten the lead again. But once again, both of these teams coming out better towards the end of the set.
Well, the timeouts have definitely helped each team whenever they've had to resume on course. The double substitution gave a strong bit of impetus to the Northern Ireland cause, which opposite and setters been introduced, Peter Stewart and Jason Martin, bringing a bit more speed to their play, a bit more experience, but after a little bit of a few shakes, Ireland have now figured out them and know how to play against them, so hopefully they'll be getting the points out of it. Unfortunately, Daly saw the ball, there was a gap go down the line, hits the antenna, results in an error. Ireland now have the advantage, 22-21. They need to fix the antenna as it looks a little bit crooked, so second referee is adjusting that.
Yeah, once again, a really nice fast set for Martin from Northern Ireland. But unfortunately, Paddy Daly just unable to get there fast enough, and he tries to cut along the line and tags the antenna.
Right idea, wrong execution. Anyways, take two, but look at that. Monster block by Julian Laguna. Hits off his left arm, then his right arm bounces down on the floor of Northern Ireland.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about. Martin tries to place a bit of a higher set for his hitter, but that just gave the Irish block more time to adjust and to place themselves. That ball was also very much inside. So Paddy Daly just unable to find a way out of that block.
Hold on, I think there's a change somewhere here. I think there was a call of a net touch. Serve is now gone to Northern Ireland, so Ireland have lost that point, I would say. It was a touch of the net as we were getting up for the block, but anyway, doesn't matter. Cancelled out very, very quickly with that service error.
So now they will have set point 24, serving 22. Let's see if Ireland can win set 2 at the first time of asking, or if Northern Ireland can.
Well, let's see
push
what
them
Laguna
longer.
does. He does his float. It's been a lot more reliable, but not on this occasion. Oh, too many service errors by Laguna in this match for our liking.
Yeah, he hasn't been able to find a solution to his serve. It might be time to sort of go back to basics. Not necessarily go for the strong serve, but just get the ball over.
That's it, put the ball over and in, that's the name of the game. Anyway, McLean gives a good pass over the overhead. It was huge hang by Sonny Yamada Brennan. And it results, Ireland taking the second set, 25 points to 23.
Sonny Yamada has been relatively quiet towards the second half of that second set. But, you know, Donnelly going back to him towards the end, and Yamada responding present once again after being quiet for a little bit, showing exactly why he's one of the strongest on this team right now. You know, he's been reliable in the second set. He's done a really good job in hitting and blocking from the service line as well. You know, showing up when it really mattered. He's really been missed.
Well, he's adding to Ireland's cause right now, because Ireland find themselves push and cease. 2 sets to nail up already. I'm trying to remember the last time Ireland were in a position like this against their northern counterparts at senior level. Many a time I've seen it, even as recent as the under-18 Small Countries Division qualifier, where we saw a thrilling 5-setter between Ireland and Northern Ireland. Same also in the under-18 girls. But over the last few years, Northern Ireland have always gotten the better of our southern counterparts, usually on a convincing scoreline.
Yeah, exactly. Northern Ireland clearly has a strong team. We saw 2 substitutions really be a sort of game changer for them. You know, they know that they're capable of pushing this Irish team further, but, you know, Coach Bell is coaching the U18s, the U20s, and the senior team as well, and he wants to bring all of these teams to success. Obviously, this hasn't been maybe the dominating performance that they were expecting. Northern Ireland is playing really, really well, pushing Ireland to really long lengths. You know, we've seen both of these sets go quite long, even though Ireland was leading in set 2. Northern Ireland coming back after these 2 substitutions. So right now, Coach Bell will be looking to close this game out in this 3rd and final set, hopefully. But Northern Ireland wants to show why they've been ahead of Ireland the past few years. You know, in 2025, the senior Irish team did lose against Northern Ireland. So Northern Ireland knows that they have history in their favor, so to speak. So they will be looking to keep pushing. We expect to see Northern Ireland maintain the changes that they made in Peter Stewart and Jason Martin. And yes, we see them line up on the sideline.
And Katrina, if I'm not mistaken, I think this is Coach Graham Bell's first international match with this senior setup, because for the last number of years it had been Romanian Andre Molnar, who's restarted the whole Irish men's program, especially from junior level, and keeping a generation to grow up together. The likes of Keegan Davern, Cillian O'Riordan, Peter McLean have been there since 2018. And so you can see the fruits of his labour have been instilled in re-establishing Ireland at senior level, not just to be making up the numbers, but to be competitive. And you can see maybe the fresh voice in the changing room is helping to spur on not only the experienced players that have been there for years, but also the new players in recent times to have added to the Irish ticket. And now we're putting on a most competent performance against their Northern Ireland counterparts.
Yeah, exactly. And this Ireland team is also quite young. I mean, they've got O'Riordan, who's the most experienced on the team, doing exactly what he's expected to do. You know, he's leading by example. But overall, this Irish team is also quite young. So this is great exposure to an international stage. You know, they're doing a really good job at showing new character. Obviously, considering the history that Northern Ireland has of beating Ireland, Ireland is just looking to show themselves and, you know, put themselves on the map, so to speak, saying, hey, you should be worried about us as well.
Well, let's see how the 3rd set is about to unfold. Keegan Davern, Cillian O'Riordan, and Peter McLean have been here before. They've played Northern Ireland umpteen times since they've been introduced to the Irish setup. It's hard to imagine that Captain Keegan Davern is only 20 years old, if I'm not mistaken. In 2019, he was a 13-year-old libero playing for the Irish under-19s, as it was for that qualifier over in St Andrews, Scotland. And probably would have played against 1 or 2 of the Northern Ireland players. But now he finds himself not only as captain and primary defender of this Irish senior squad, but in a 2-set commanding lead as well with his Irish teammates. Anyway, let's go on with the play. McGuinness tries to go for a long tip, but now it's given up to Sonny Yamada on the outside, but hits it, hits under the ball a bit too much, and sails into the back wall and out.
Yeah, that's not the hit that Sonny Yamada was looking for, just hitting the ball.
It sometimes pops up.
Yeah, it can happen.
It happens to the best of us anyway, but you're hoping it's minimal compared to what you're renowned to be doing. Oh, the block was there by Nevitz. That should be a point for Northern Ireland as the rebound came back onto Peter McGlynn's head. So a lovely block there, closed the door fairly tightly.
Yeah, Peter McGlynn was trying to get the block out, touch, point, but unfortunately the Northern Irish block really committed to that, and that ball just landing on McGlynn's head.
A little bit of fussiness from second referee Aidan McDonald, because he's trying to push all the Irish team down into the zone area there, the subs area where they're supposed to hang out. It's kind of sprawled out a little behind the line. In any case, let's turn our attention back to the play. Number 17 for Northern Ireland,
Jason Martin.
New setter for Northern Ireland, pops it down into Davern's direction. Lovely set there. Oh, there was a gap there in the block. Sonny Yamada saw it, flash forward, big spike, down ball.
That's exactly what you want to see as a coach from your hitters. Sonny Yamada hit that ball out in the previous rally, and now just correcting his mistake and crushing that ball.
Here we go, McLean serving on Workman. There's a set behind there, big to Nevitz. Does There's a Cristiano Ronaldo pose. It seems to be globally renowned anyway. However, it's only 1 point. It's not a goal like it is in football, which means a hell of a lot more points and goals to score.
Yeah, really impressive job by Nivet so far. You know, he's been their Northern Ireland's top scorer and showing exactly why he needs to be relied upon for hitting.
See what happens anyway. There's a back set there. Sonny, oh, and Peter Stewart had a long hang, reach, his big arms. Gets it with his left hand to dump it back down on the Irish side. Working quite aware in the cover.
Yeah, that's the experience you were talking about. Stewart just waiting in the air, seeing Yamada going for the tip. So he just waits in the air a little bit longer and just pushes that ball down.
If it's up to the serve plate again, it floats down in the direction of Killian O'Riordan, who passed it. Again, they go behind again. And this time, Sonny Yamada gets some change off the block of Peter Stewart. This time, the ball drops on the outside of the line of the Irish court.
Yeah, Donnelly really trusting his opposite in this situation. He's been a really strong hitter for them right now, so really nice to see Donnelly keep putting his trust in him.
I think the one thing that should be alerted to our audience members is that with the new coach in place there, oh, lovely jump serve there. He even went from right to left, got a bit of side spin on it. Very good introduction of the new player, number 12 for Ireland, Rory McKenna, finally gets some action.
Yeah, he had come in earlier on in set 2 or later on in set 2, but there was a bit of confusion, as you saw, and now showing exactly why he should have been on the court.
We'll see what happens anyways. Another jump serve. He's going right to left. He does, but he goes right to left into the middle of the net. As I was alluding to just there earlier before McKenna went on his run of serves, there's a different approach I find now with this Irish team under Graham Bell. As you alluded to, they're better problem solvers. And bringing more trust between the players. As you say, if one person makes a mistake, okay, let's try him again. We put it out to him, see what he's made of, and then the setter can kind of get an idea who's in their form at the moment, you know. So it's a good high level of trust between setters and attackers. Oh, there's another big hit. They did seal the block, the double block there of Northern Ireland, but Killian O'Riordan used his experience, hitting it hard off the hands. And again, trips out to the sideline of Ireland.
Yeah, exactly. The Northern Ireland block seems to have stepped up a little bit. They're getting a lot more touches, jumping a little later on the hitter so that they can get a block touch on that, but Ireland adapting even better, as you were saying. Yeah,
it's 50-50 in that regard anyway. Some they're getting up and getting points, and other ones they're resulting in going out. Anyway, play goes on. Peter Stewart's going to go big on it. He does. He does what I know he does on the beach. Big high roll on it. Oh, Killian O'Riordan is just not as high as Peter Stewart on his own side. As the set from Jordan Donnelly floats over on the other side, so an easy point for Northern Ireland. You can see the use of the high reach can be very, very effective, especially if your setter sets you up too tight. You have to have a number of different strategies on how you're going to win the point. You try to use his beach experience with the high roll, but there's easy pick up from the Irish backcourt, wherever Killian O'Riordan can do the same. Anyway, another big swing by Yamada Brennan. So it's going to result in another free ball, another try, but it's short, so he has to go out to forward. Killian O'Riordan use a big power again. Oh, there's a net touch on the way up. The second referee calls on it, and rightly so. We saw there was a nudge at the bottom of the net as the middle blocker was probably going up. I think it was number 16, McElveen. However, Ireland don't care who was at fault. They just get the point.
Yeah, really nice defense from McGuinness there, but unfortunately McElveen just tagging the net as he came down from that block.
They're doing a better job of trying to seal the block anyway, but Ireland are still using their strategy, just like Killian O'Riordan will do. He's probably been told to turn around when he celebrates anyway. God knows they don't need a yellow card at this stage while the momentum is in their favour.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying a while ago. He's leading by example. You know, he's got the most experience on this team, and he's showing it off perfectly well.
He's popping on the most experienced team who didn't come up trumps. Jonathan Workman does go with an overpass. And was duly obliged to dump down by Peter McGlynn.
Yeah, and we will give half of that point to O'Riordan because, you know, that was a really strong serve, and McGlynn capitalizing.
Yeah, he changed the trajectory and the speed of it. He went short on it. Now he's going strong cross over to Stewart. He go behind to McGuinness. He does a big swing, but that's gone out. I can see it when the line that he took, and he was trying too much of a cut, and knowing the power that McGuinness can put into that ball, you have to be very, very precise.
Yeah, when you're hitting from the backcourt, it can sometimes be difficult for you to judge the approach as you wanted. So unfortunately, McGinnis just sending that ball wide.
Oh, there's no talking here. Jonathan Workman was expecting Nievitz to get the pass on it, and it goes right between them. A lovely divorce serve, as I call it, splitting the passers in two.
Yeah, or Jordan trying to vary his surface positioning, and once again going back to where he managed to get Workman before, and now getting a direct ace. So Ireland showing just how effective strong service pressure can be, and now they're leading by 3 points, 9-6. Let's see if they can hold on to this. But let's not count Northern Ireland out. We've seen them come back multiple times. I'm sure they're capable of coming out of this timeout really well.
I'm sure Coach Grieve has another ace on the bench up his sleeves anyway that can help swing it back in Northern Ireland's favour, like he did in the second set by introducing Peter Stewart and Jason Martin. However, the two boys still on court. They have to now figure it out how they're going to get out of this rotation situation. Setter's stuck over on 4, so he's a long way to go to positions between positions 2 and 3. Anyway, he makes the there's an off pass by Stewart, so they have to go back out to him long. There's a 3-man block into it, but Keegan Darvin's up there. There's a fall there by Julian Laguna, but the play still goes on. They're going into pipe, and it's high off the block. Killian O'Riordan committed to going a little bit short up the court, but it hits high off Julian Laguna's hands and sails well over the head of Killian O'Riordan. A lot of action in that point, Katrina.
Yeah, that was a really nice choice from Jason Martin. You know, Peter Nievitz has been their most effective hitter so far, so really nice to see him go back to him.
And Stewart is now going to put it in the pass. I think Peter Stewart has now gone on the wing instead of opposite. Oh, there's a good high reach by Martin to get onto that ball. Anyway, they have to go out in 4. What does Glynn do? Well, it's kept up anyway. He's going to be tight at the block. Anyway, there's going to be a recycled ball. They go into pipe, and it's kept up alive, so Julian's just going to pop it back over. Here we go again with Northern Ireland. They go out fast out to the wing. Oh, and that's what you do when you're going on a 1-to-1, especially with the front court setter of Ireland. Nievitz hits hard off the hands of Jordan Donnelly. Floats out to the left. Point for Northern Ireland.
Yeah, once again, Jason Martin just speeding up his attacker, and Nievitz doing exactly what he's expected to do.
Another good pass on the overhead. And a bit of a look off the top of the tape from Julian Laguna. He manages to put it down on the Northern Ireland side. They weren't ready to scrap for it.
Yeah, that set was a little bit low from Donnelly, but the net just helping Ireland out a little bit.
But it also helps when you have a middle blocker who's able to jump as high as Julian Laguna. Anyway, what's he going to do with his serve? Is he going to jump serve? Is he going to float serve? He's going to go back to the float serve because he's got an ace out of it. I think Graham Bell will have to rethink his strategy when it comes around to him, because that's, if I'm not mistaken, that's 4 service errors out of 6 for Julian Laguna. The second one on a float serve.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate. Just, as I said, might be time to go back to basics. Just put the ball over. I don't care how.
I think it'll be up to Coach Graham Bell to maybe put on a specialist server like he did with Mark Bumate in the first 2 sets.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, there was a balloon hit by Peter McGlynn on that. It resulted in an easy point for Northern Ireland, and Graham Bell will call timeout. First one for Ireland in set 3. Sides are level, 10-all.
Yeah, it's epic and flowing, just as you said. That timeout from Northern Ireland just working miracles, you know, really well done from Northern Ireland to be able to respond how their coach expects them to. Right now, Graham Bell making sure that the momentum does not swing too much into favor of Northern Ireland.
We can see the benefits of calling timeouts. Every timeout in this game thus far has benefited the team that called it, and we were able to regroup very, very quickly and get the momentum back in on their court.
Yeah, credit to both coaches doing a really good job at managing their players well, because if your teams are capable of coming out of any timeout this well throughout the game consistently, it's a really good indication.
Anyway, play resumes here now. Northern Ireland on the service line. Pass is a bit off, so Peter McGlynn gets the ball by his roll. It was a bit heavy touch there. McGuinness on the back, so it's going to be another free ball in a cute angle. Davern puts it in, and they're going to go middle there. Oh, that's what you like. That's what you like to see. Rory McKenna with his first point for the Irish team on the net.
Yeah, Rory McKenna really earning his place on the court. You know, from the service line, he got an ace, and now he's doing a really good job from hitting. Once again, he wasn't able to come into the court in set 2, but now showing that he deserves to be here.
Ekir Hassan might have something to say about that. He gets another chance to go on court anywhere. Northern Ireland going to Nievitz. But it's an easy ball picked up. It's gone by Jordan Donny, so it's the libero going to set it. Oh, and there's a roll into the middle by Sonny Yamada Brennan. Very late delay in the defence by number 6 McGuinness for Northern Ireland, the opposite. And he caught him off guard completely, standing up too far up right and not enough low to even react to that ball.
Yeah, and also just to say, Northern Ireland had a triple block up on Sonny Yamada. That's how much of a threat he's been for them right now.
Oh, Ruben McKenna got good hands on it, but again, I still think Killian O'Riordan, if he steps back more at the back line, he might be able to get one of those balls. The blocks are doing really well in lining themselves up to the hitters, and so it could be always any chance to get a recycled ball to counter-attack.
Yeah, that's happened a couple times. O'Riordan maybe waiting a bit too far into the court, as you said, so it might be time to move back if the block is touching the ball so well.
Yeah, and the deal with the cross float on that, and that's a big hit by McLean. It's going to be tight at the referee's podium. It is okay, it's going to be played on. Stuart only puts it back over and in. They're going to go out to, they go behind to McLean again. Oh, Nievitz! Even in the drifts in the middle of the air, manages to get his timing right. Hit the hands of Peter McGlynn's spike. Well,
that left me speechless.
I think it left a lot of people speechless in the hall.
What a block by Nievitz. I mean, he's been their top scorer in hitting so far, but showing that he can block amazingly well too.
And now look at that, momentum is swung in Northern Ireland's favour. A great float serve right onto the back line by number 17, Jason Martin. Yeah,
Ireland feeling a little bit rattled after that long rally. Just needs to regroup. These things happen. Just important to move on and reset.
Well, Martin serve again for his cross float. Yes, he goes too long on that. McLean does it really nicely. Free point for Ireland on that, and it will be Peter McGlynn's turn to serve.
As we're tied 13-all.
So McLean will be coming in from the left side. Will he target zone 1 where you can see the backcourt setters coming up? He does, to get it on Nievitz's hands. So they go 1-2 behind. Oh, there's a net touch anyway there with the middle blocker coming up. So it was Killian O'Riordan put his hand up to admit on that. So
yeah, that's a bit of a shame, because that was Nievitz's first mistake in this set. He hit that ball out, but Ireland's block unfortunately just into the net as they were jumping up to block.
Well, it's Nievitz now to serve. He's been good with a strong cross. He goes down the middle into Keegan Darman's direction, but it's easy dealt with. Reardon, yeah, easy. He found the gap between the block. I think McGuinness is drifting a little bit too far, and he's leaving more of a hole, and it's not giving any chance for his middle blocker to join up and seal that hole.
Yeah, you never want to leave any gap in the block against a hitter like O'Riordan.
And you need to be able to gather the data of where your hitters you're up against the block are hitting. And Killian O'Riordan predominantly is hitting cross court, but McGuinness has been drift blocking a few times in this set, allowing an open door for Killian to swing on.
Christian Hoy at the serve for Northern Ireland.
It's an easy float cross one. Oh, smart play by Donnelly, because he knew he was backcourt, he couldn't touch it, put it back over. Okay, the hands are on there by Sonny Yamada. Again, they're going to Pierce George, he's going to hit hard, but Julian Naguna is there to read it. Is he back over there again? Oh, there's a lovely pick up at the backcourt by McLean, so they're going to go to Sonny, who rolls it in the direction of Nievitz. So now he's going 1-2 on the pipe, and the ball's called out by the line judge. He tried to roll it down into the maximum area. He would have been allowed to get it in, but unfortunately it falls on the wrong side of the back line, and it results in Ireland breathing a sigh of relief. 15-all now, Katarina.
Yeah, and that's why what effective defense will get you. Sometimes all you need to do is just keep the ball up at all costs. Doesn't matter if you manage to counterattack and get a good swing on it. Sometimes the opponent will do the work for you.
And even with a defense like McLean on the back there, if we change the momentum back in your favor, really bring up field. Look at that, there's a free hit by Naguna. Free hit by Naguna. He saw the space, he saw where his middle blocker was committed to. Free hit, boom, shakalaka.
Yeah, and it's exactly as I was saying, you know, defense is really important, not just because it keeps the game going, but also because it keeps you going mentally. So now Ireland trying to make sure that they maintain the momentum as they lead 16-15.
Sonny Yamada is the second one now that's thrown out in the last few points. Very hard to tag onto that, so again they have to rely on siding out here at 16 all.
Yeah, we're starting to see a little too many service errors from Ireland in a row. Might be time to try and fix that to keep the game going.
Well, Northern Ireland are trying to fix the McGuinness issue anyway. He's off at this moment in time. Paddy Daly has been reintroduced into the game, but he's come in as opposite instead of wing. But it's an easy serve into Midland's direction to go at the back to Sonny Yamada, but he hits the net. It results in an error for Ireland. So another serve chance for Paddy Daly to put a little bit more pressure on than the first one.
Yeah, Sonny Yamada just missed the timing on that ball. Hit that ball as he was coming down into the net.
Yeah, float serve down into O'Riordan's direction. They go middle again, and this time Julian Naguna decides to hit it over into zone 1. Saw that the blocker was committed to protecting 5. He swings across his body and into a down ball.
Yeah, it's really nice to see such a smart play, as you said. Blockers were covering 5, and he was able to see that and turn his body and hit that ball into position 1.
You can see there's better decision making by a lot of these Irish players. If one door shuts, they have to look at and analyse the situation. What's happening here? They're calling an invasion by the Northern Ireland player. I thought there might have been a joust, but
yeah, they're claiming that Jason Martin was reaching over the net.
But from my understanding in this situation, because Paddy Daly's come on for McGuinness in the back court, Jason Martin is front court on this, so he's more than entitled to challenge at the top of the net. However, I think Maria Jimenez is giving it for an overreach. And there's a timeout called by Colin Grieve there. Again, just to settle any nerves and get the focus back into play. Will it be another effective timeout?
Well, I mean, I believe so, because the last timeout that we saw was taken by Graham Bell for Ireland, and now Ireland is leading 18-17. And before that, Northern Ireland was leading after taking a timeout. So if the history of these timeouts is any indication, I believe Northern Ireland will come out really well. I mean, it's nice to see, and it shows really good coaching from both of these coaches. If your teams are able to come out of a timeout so effectively, you should take a lot of pride in that. So I'm honestly really impressed with how well each team is responding and adapting to the situation. So let's see if Northern Ireland keeps up the streak of coming out really strong.
Well, I think it's one of the stories of the game thus far. When a coach has called a timeout, the team has responded. So will it be deja vu all over again? Will Northern Ireland respond to this? It's going to be Killian O'Riordan to serve and get us back into action. He floats it over into Nievet's direction to go into middle. Oh, it was very smart by number 16, McElveen, who gives a high roll with the high reach, rolls it, tips it, drops into the Irish court.
Yeah, Ireland had a double block on McElveen, but he was able to just perfectly tap that behind the block.
And even with the high reach over the block was quite unusual, because when you're up against Julian Naguna, it's going to always be a competition in the centre. Well, they're going to him again. Oh, he does swing very well, got a good connection, but unfortunately it bounced on the wrong side of the line there. It was definitely out. Just.
Yeah, an unfortunate mistake, but once again, if you look at the score, now Northern Ireland is leading after a timeout. So
the power of response to a timeout, huh? Anyway, they will go on to go into him again, and a lovely pass. If someone calls it, yes, he's going out. And again, you've highlighted a few times now in this game alone of the decision making by the setters. If your previous hitter makes a mistake, well, give them the trust again that you believe in them. As you see there, Ireland was rewarded justly on that. Finally, okay, now Julian Naguna's jump service working for the first time in this game. And again, momentum's come back.
There seems to be no in-between. You know, he's been really fighting with the serve so far, but really impressive to get an ace right now of all times.
Well, let's see if he can do it again. He's going up for the jump serve. Goes for big. And it's going to be off pass. It's going to be a free ball, I'd say. Oh, they're popping it into the center. Can he hit on second? No, they decided to put it into the middle back. Oh, and a clever roll by Peter McLean down the line. Saw the space. Paddy Daly was nowhere near it. Reacted very late, and the ball ends up on the floor of the Northern Ireland side.
Yeah, and more than anything, I'm proud to see Julian find a solution to the serve. Mentally, it will do miracles for him and his team as well. You know, we've got a really strong server now. It's important that we keep the serve.
I think it's good coaching by Graham Bell. Probably had a word from when he was on the touchline when that situation was going to come. Anyway, he jumped very high for that, but he was hitting on the way down. Oh, it was a big swing. Oh, that is wild by Nievitz. Very wild, at least 2 meters beyond the head of the line judge here, nearest to us on camera. Now it's Ireland with a 3-point advantage, so we're getting closer to the end of this third set.
Yeah, and I'm going to 100% credit, well, first of all, Coach Graham Bell, but Julian. Northern Ireland has not been used to receiving his serves because he's been missing so many. But now that he's getting them, you know, Northern Ireland isn't sure of what to do.
Talk about doing it at the right time when you need it. Oh, there's something happening here. Yes, exactly, there was an invasion. Jordan Donnelly was trying to set the ball back and then caught out in the inexperience of the middle blocker there of Lucia McElveen in the middle. Ends up touching either the ball or the hands of the setter.
And now Ireland 2 points away from taking this match.
Now Ireland have responded very well to Northern Ireland's timeout when they got their little lead. It's now been all Ireland at this stage. From 1918, we are now 23-20 up. As you say, Katarina, only 2 points away.
Yeah, obviously Ireland will be very glad to be coming out of such an amazing serving run. They will be looking to capitalize. They literally just have 2 points to go.
Another excellent pass by O'Riordan, and tight on the net.
Good coverage.
Yeah, but too tight. I think he was up on the net. Oh no, they're calling Rory McKenna hit the net with his spike. 4 touch. Anyway, they'll try to do it again. Graham Bell, coach of Ireland, does have 1 outer extra timeout. Maybe we'll see what happens on this point. There's still 2 points of advantage here. We play this out. Again, lovely pass again by Killian O'Riordan. They go back onto the zone 1, but look where that block was. That's the second one in this set by Nievitz.
I mean, he's definitely the MVP on the side of Northern Ireland. Really impressed by his work, an amazing hitter. He's done a really good job from the service line, and now really heating up a little bit of a rivalry with Sonny Yamada.
Look at it now, it's now second timeout called by the Irish team. Will this timeout effectiveness happen again? It's happened every time there's been a timeout so far in this match.
Yeah, once again, Graham Bell taking a really quick timeout. Just wants to break the momentum that Northern Ireland seems to be getting after such a high off of the serves from Julian. You know, a couple of mistakes. This Irish team might be getting into their heads, so Graham Bell wants to prevent that from happening. Let's see if history repeats itself with every timeout.
Well, they've lost the last 3 points anyway. It was the right time to call that timeout. However,
yeah,
they have no more left. So it's all now or never now. Go serve crossover to McLean into Donnelly's hands. Go a little faster and McLean finishes that off. Nice 1-2 with McLean and Donnelly. This lead to a match point for Ireland.
Yeah, and a perfect disguise from McKenna, really jumping, making it seem as if he was going for the hit. So Peter McGlynn only had 1 blocker on him.
Now it's Jordan Donnelly. He started off with an ace in this match. Can he finish off with an ace in this match? Ball's over there into Workman's position. It's going to be off pass, so it's going to be a free ball. Can he finish it off first time? Davern pops it into Donnelly, who pops it behind to Brennan, and it's hard, high, off the block of Nievitz. Game, Ireland, on a scoreline of 3-0.
What an impressive game. Donnelly going back to his top scorer. Personally, I would say Sonny Yamada's the MVP of today's game. Honestly, Ireland had a really impressive game. Let's credit, you know, Killian O'Riordan leading by example, but then you have Sonny Yamada showing up when it really mattered, really amazing hitting. Took a bit of time to warm up early in set 1, but then has been consistent ever since. Really impressed by this Ireland team, you know. Mistakes will be made along the way. They didn't have a perfect game, but they were able to respond in every single situation. As I said, you know, mistakes will be made. Volleyball is a game of mistakes. You win a point when the other team makes a mistake, but it's important that you compensate that by doing the simple things well. And Ireland has shown today that they're able to respond to any situation and adapt and compensate for any mistakes that they commit.
Very good on that. I would say one thing that should be highlighted from last year's team to this year's team, I've seen it in buckets loaded here, is composure.
Yeah.
Lots of composure on the Irish team. Whenever there's a small setback, they're able to find a solution to whatever problem may arise in that moment, and they get out of it fairly fast.
Yeah, exactly. It's what I was saying. Mistakes will get made, and they really seem to absorb that and accept that. And as long as you're able to accept the fact that you are going to make mistakes, that doesn't define the performance that you're going to give. As long as you're able to respond to those, that's how you manage to win effectively. And they've shown that perfectly well today.
Yeah, and effective Ireland were, because over the last few occasions, Northern Ireland have gotten the better on them, usually on a 3-0 scoreline. But Ireland have actually turned the tide in their favour with a very competent, composed performance. Very tight in all 3 sets, but 3 sets, they all won. 31-29, I remember, first set.
Yeah, exactly. It was a really tough game. Credit to Northern Ireland, you know, they fought until the very end. They have some amazing players, you know. Mike Anievitz doing an amazing job throughout the entire match, showing he can be relied upon in hitting, in blocking, in defense, in reception, and from the service line. He's a really complete player. And then the changes in Peter Stewart and Jason Martin, you know, they were really able to lead by example through their experience, especially in that second set. We really saw a difference. Northern Ireland definitely has a lot to be proud of in this match because it wasn't a short game. You know, just saying that Ireland won 3-0, I don't think really explains how the match went.
No.
I think Northern Ireland has a lot to be proud of, and obviously they will take a lot of lessons from this game as they head into the SCA in June.
For sure, 3 very, very tight sets. But it's the Irish team, the home team, that managed to take victory in this annual St. Patrick's Challenge, giving them commanding lead overall. We've seen the senior women beat their Northern Ireland female counterparts. They started at the same time on a scoreline of 3-0. And same with the boys under 18. It's only the girls under 18 from Northern Ireland. They're flying with a winning victory.
Yeah, now we're going to close out this St. Patrick's Challenge with the under-20s. Coach Graham Bell is once again on the bench to coach this under-20 team.
Can he make it 3 from 3? So far it's 2 from 2, Katerina. First the under-18s and now it's the seniors that have taken victory here in Tallaght University in Dublin against Northern Ireland.
Well, that's the goal, clearly. You know, in the last squads weekend that they had at the start of March, the goal was to obviously win every game against Northern Ireland, but also to drop as little sets as possible. And so far, Graham Bell has coached his teams to win 3-0. No sets have been dropped so far. Let's see if the under-20s team can continue the streak.
Well, let's hope so. I do think for the introduction of this season with the FOSS Éireann program, where all these Irish and underage teams have had plenty of court time experience against the best club teams, whether they're in Premier or Division 1, and also taking a couple of scalps along the way. So that has definitely boded well for the overall spirit of the team.
Oh yeah, clearly.
But also the composure that they brought to the table, and that was shown in buckets there under Graham Wells' watch. That's the end of the game here. We'll be waiting for the next round of games with the under-20s, but it was the men of Ireland that take the victory in 2026 against Northern Ireland on a scoreline of 3-0. My thanks to Katerina. It's always been a pleasure to call another game with you, with the Irish team involved.
Yeah, thank you, Benny. It's been a pleasure.
We move on to the under-20s. They'll be starting here in the same hall at 3 o'clock. But for now, just enjoy the victory that Ireland senior men have brought to the table. 3-0 to the victors. Slán go fóill.